So in this video, I'm going to be explaining why the Canon M50 is the best camera for beginners, for people who maybe have a business and want to get some great pictures. This is the perfect camera for you, the Canon M50. So before I actually start explaining why this is such a great camera, I want to take you through the contents of the box. First thing you get is the instructions manual. I never read that, dash it to the side. Next, you get the camera itself. I'm speaking like a brony. Don't need to worry about what that means. Yeah, so you get the camera, looks lovely and cute, nice and compact, beautiful. You get the neck strap, so it goes around your neck, keep the camera safe. Next, you get the charger, you get a lens. The lens is very important because you might buy from some sellers who don't actually sell the camera with the lens. So when you're buying the camera, you need to be very careful that you're getting the lens with it. It's very important. If not, you'll be spending another maybe 150, 200 pounds on just the lens itself. Next, in the box, you get the battery. You only get one. And then the last thing you get in the box is the cable, the charging cable for the charger. One thing you don't get in the box, which you definitely need to have to start using the camera, is a memory card. I've got one here. You can pick up a 64 gig for maybe 15, 20 pounds. This 64 gig is sufficient. I'd even say if you're not shooting video, you're just taking pictures, get a 32 gig, even cheaper, a tenner, you know? So you need a memory card. I'd recommend SanDisk, the brand called SanDisk. They do the best ones. And they're the best because your stuff just doesn't get lost. If it does get lost, they get it back for you. So before we actually get into the camera, I'm gonna put the lens and the battery and the memory card in the camera so it's easy to understand. First thing you wanna do, twist the cap off, put it to one side. The back cap of the lens, twist that off as well. And then put that to one side. Then what you wanna do is line up, there's a white dot on the lens. You line that up to the white dot on the camera. Where's the white dot on the camera? Okay, so the white dot on the camera is about there. Line them up, twist, and that's it, perfectly on. Lens cap off. I think in this camera, the battery goes on the bottom. Hopefully I can do this right so I don't look stupid on camera. Oops. I forgot to say, by the way, memory card's in. This video wouldn't be possible without Legendary Boots. So go check out her page. She gave us this camera so that we can basically talk you guys through it. I'm gonna go through each point as to why I believe this camera is the best camera for beginners, people with a business, and anybody who basically just wants to get into photography. This camera punch is crazy. The first reason why I'd recommend this camera personally is because of the size. I mean, look at it, it's very small, very cute, very compact. Do you understand? You know what, I'll just compare it to one of my personal cameras. So this here is a Canon 5D. Look at the size of it. It's pretty much, it's almost half the size. So if you compare these two cameras, this is a professional wedding camera. This is I would call it a prosumer camera. However, they both have almost equal photography quality. This one has better video quality than this camera here. I mean, you can see the big difference in size. This is pretty much twice the size of this. If I want to compare it to something more up to date, I'd compare it to the EOS R. And that's this camera here. So this is what I personally use for weddings or my professional gigs. They're comparable, they're very comparable when it comes to video specs, but you can see how small this one is compared to that. Me personally, if it was acceptable for me to go on like wedding bookings with a smaller camera, I'd take this. Like, I'd get away with this. This with a good lens would give me the same image quality as this. Obviously, if you want to get technical and proper drill down and look into it, you'll see the difference in quality. But in terms of a normal person, someone who doesn't care about photos or cares so much about photography, looking at this, they won't be able to tell the difference in picture quality. Probably the same with video quality as well. So that should tell you something. This camera is perfect for, let's say you're a makeup artist, you're going to a booking, yeah? You don't need to get a whole new camera bag to put this in. This will go in your makeup box. If you're a vlogger, it's a very small and light camera. You can walk around, and you can maybe vlog yourself for 30 minutes, 1 hour straight without your arm getting too tired. I mean, I could do that, and look how skinny my arms are, no muscles whatsoever. I'd be able to get away with it. Benefit number 2 is the ability to manipulate all the settings, right? So I already showed you guys the professional cameras. Most of the settings changes that I can make on my professional camera, I can make on this camera. Things like shutter speed, ISO, the aperture, I can change on this. If you don't know what these things mean, don't worry. Next video, I'm gonna explain it as we go through this series of getting you guys into photography. Anything you can do on one of my professional cameras that I've just shown you, it's very likely you can do on this as well. So point number 3 is image quality or picture quality. This camera here produces excellent photos, right? Coupled with the right environment. So if you have maybe a flash, a good backdrop, actual nice looking subject, you will get a beautiful picture. It will be comparable to one of my professional grade wedding cameras. You'd need a professional to be able to tell the difference between a picture from this camera and a picture from this camera if you're able to manipulate the settings correctly. You know, you'll be able to get away with shooting this camera and telling people you use this camera to shoot it, and the price difference is massive. This camera is £1,400, this camera is £400. The next thing is video quality and settings. So this camera I love very much because the video settings and the video quality is comparable to the professional cameras I've showed you as well. The other things that you can do on the more professional cameras that you can't do on this would probably be things like frame rates. You can get higher frame rates on the professional cameras. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then it probably doesn't matter to you. All you need to know is your videos are gonna be crisp and sharp if you use this camera correctly. Fourth reason why I think this camera is excellent is something called autofocus. So that's the camera's ability to focus on something and maybe blur out the background. If you're, for example, vlogging and you're filming yourself, let's say you've got the camera out like this and you're talking to the camera, you don't have time to be doing, touching the camera and trying to focus on yourself. The camera has good enough technology to just focus on your face and keep you in focus so you don't become blurry, you're sharp the whole time. This camera has excellent autofocus. It's the same autofocus level, I would say, again, as my £1,400 camera. The sixth reason why this camera is excellent for beginners and people who maybe want to film themselves and do YouTube and do vlogging is this thing here called the flip out screen, right? So with this flip out screen, you'll be able to turn the camera to face you and then turn the screen as well to face you so you can record yourself and watch yourself as you're filming. So I've got one friend who wanted to get into video podcasting and he decided to use his phone, which I recommend most of the time. As they were filming their podcast, the phone died. And because they couldn't see the phone screen, they didn't know that phone had died. So they recorded maybe 45 minutes of them talking to the camera and had nothing to show for it. With the flip out screen, you can make the screen face yourself. You can watch the screen as you're recording yourself. And if there are any problems, you'll obviously know and then you can fix it straight away. So that's why the flip out screen is excellent. So the seventh reason why I think this camera is excellent is the battery life. This camera can take about 230 pictures before the battery dies, and it can do about 130 minutes of video before the battery dies as well. That's perfect for your vlog or taking pictures of your client when you've done their makeup or their hair. Number 8 is the menus and learning. I never actually used this camera until very recently. And what I noticed is that before you go into each menu, it sort of tells you what each thing does and it gives you a little overview. My professional camera doesn't do that. It literally just, you can see the difference. It just lists out the information. It doesn't tell you what each thing does, which I think isn't very good for beginners. You can see very clearly that it gives you nice, colorful information. The actual settings are pretty much the same, but it gives you more information before you go into each setting. So it makes it easier for someone to actually learn about cameras and learn about photography, which I think is excellent. I wish I'd had this when I'd started out. So the 9th reason why this camera is excellent is the price, right? The other cameras I've shown you are £1,000, £1,500. This camera here is £400. That's on average. You can get it for more, you can get it for less, but on average, this camera, brand new, is £400. I personally think that's excellent for the package that you get. Things that you get in this camera are professional grade in a very compact body. So I'd recommend this camera just on price alone. The 10th reason why I would say this camera is excellent is because of the connectivity. This camera comes with Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. What this means for you is that you can connect it to your phone or connect it to your tablet, so that as soon as you take the picture, it goes to your phone and your tablet. You can bang out the edits on the phone and tablet using the Lightroom app or any other editing app you have. Slap your watermark on it and straight away it goes on Instagram. The person who actually let us borrow this camera for today has an Instagram page where she does some wigs. So she'll take a picture of the wig, add her watermark on her phone, and then upload it straight away on Instagram, and you know, it's actually helping her grow. So the other reason why connectivity is important in this camera is more of a videographer's reason. So if you're like me and you maybe want to record yourself in this sort of setting, the camera's going to be far away from you. You can't be reaching over, changing settings. What you can do is connect the camera to your phone or tablet. So as you can see, I'm watching myself and I can easily make changes to the settings. I can start and stop recording anytime I want. Yeah, so that pretty much concludes the reasons as to why I think this camera is excellent for a beginner. Someone's maybe got a small business, they want to take some pictures, some product pictures, some client pictures for their Instagram. This camera pretty much does it all. Of course, the camera is just a camera. You need to have a good eye, you need to have good settings, there's other factors that make your camera great, but this will give you a great starting point. Canon M50, this is what I recommend. Like, share, and subscribe if this has helped you. If this video is going to help someone that wants to do the same thing, send it to them, please. Send it, tell them to like, share, and subscribe as well. And I'll see you in the next video.